We don't always travel because something is missing. Sometimes we travel because too much has been added. Noise, movement, pressure, roles. Hunza didn't call me loudly. It just made space and I stepped into it. There's a kind of wisdom in distance, not the kind measured in miles, but in quiet, in simplicity, in being left alone. This isn't a place that demands anything from you, and that is rare.
Now, before I came to this beautiful valley of Hunza, surrounded by these snow-capped mountains, I didn't realize how much noise I was surrounded by, how much loud noise I was surrounded by. And it's often the case with big cities like Dubai, New York, London. You're surrounded by so much stimuli that you're not able to think clearly. When you leave those big cities and you come out into a place which is surrounded by high mountains, green grass, all types of vegetation, no stimuli in the form of billboards, neon lights, your thoughts start to change. They become clearer. Being away from the city, it helps you to breathe properly. You know, there's something about being high in the altitude mountains with clean air, no pollution in the air. You're drinking water that comes from glaciers, which is full of minerals. You're able to feel yourself again and realize who you are, not in a philosophical way, but in a way where you can remove the noise and then realize what's left. And what's left is often very powerful.
Not every journey has a clear lesson, but some places offer you enough stillness to notice your own. I don't know yet what I'll carry with me when I leave, but I know I've started to notice what matters again. Not through effort, just by being here. It's not about changing who you are, it's about loosening the noise around it. And in that quiet, there's room for something better to return. Not answers, just clarity. Not transformation, just calm.
Now, when you're surrounded by such huge, majestic, beautiful mountains, there's this urge not to perform, but just to show up. Because these wonderful mountain peaks, they don't speak, they just show you how small, insignificant you are, but also they tell you without speaking that your worth doesn't always lie in you advocating for yourself, in you saying, this is my value, but rather you just being present and still. That stillness, in effect, advocates for your presence.
When you slow down, the world opens up in small ways, not with big signs, but with gentle details. The way light lands on a stone, the sound of water in the distance, the rhythm of steps when there's nowhere to rush to. I didn't come here with a checklist, and some days we're just walking, sitting, having tea. And strangely, those were the days that felt the most full. You begin to realize that peace isn't found by adding more, it's found by removing what you never needed.
And one of the beautiful things about being surrounded with these mountains and this vegetation, clean air and water, is that you become very still in terms of your thoughts. And this form of stillness, it allows you to think clearly, but more importantly, it allows you to hear your own thoughts. And in a world that we come in now, with the huge cities that we have, the one thing we find very difficult is to listen to our thoughts and to realize what part of this is me and what part of this is external stimuli which is causing me to think a particular way.
Some places give you stories, others give you silence, and if you let it, silence shows you what was always waiting to be heard. This was never about escape. It was about remembering what it feels like to breathe without pressure, to walk without direction, to be without needing to explain why.
You begin to ask deeper, meaningful questions with yourself. Not questions such as what's next, but more questions about what truly matters. And we are in the West, and wherever we live, these are questions that we tend to avoid, these deeper, slightly philosophical questions about the self. What truly matters? And stillness, calmness brings about to the forefront these meaningful questions about what truly matters to you. Now, the other thing what's really fundamentally important here is that people often escaping their city lives would come to a place like this and feel that they're looking for answers, and there's nothing wrong in that. Looking for answers is a very noble thing to do, but sometimes it's not about solving your life, but rather about seeing clearly. Because through clarity you can make the right decisions. And when you're covered with a lot of noise, a lot of pollution, not only physical, but internal pollution, and sensory overload, your decision making is impaired. So the ability to be still, calm and reflective is valuable even without the answers, because the reflection in essence is the answer.